360 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. America First with Sebastian Gorka, today at 3, right before Sean Thompson at 4 on AM 560. The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. If you don't think Alvin Bragg is fanning the flames in MAGA country quickly enough, well, enter KJP, the White House spokeswoman, Karine Jean-Pierre, trying to explain the Biden administration's position of not commenting on the Trump indictment because they don't comment on ongoing cases. Of course. Except
you know this. Come on.
Yeah, no, I know.
Be better.
She'll repeat it. But a New York Times reporter named Michael Shear, he actually had a fit of pretending to be a journalist just for a fleeting moment. But it was fun nonetheless. I think it caught White House spokeswoman KJP off guard a little bit because she's, of course, used to the New York Times and most of the rest of the White House press corps serving as the comm shop, an extension of her comm shop. So no comment on this, but no problem commenting on January 6th. Can you explain the difference?
Please.
I hear you, but this is something that all of Americans watch in real time. In real time. And people died. People died.
I don't need a
People
lecture on
died.
the fact that
But you're lecturing
died.
me.
But
you're lecturing me.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm asking questions, and what I'm saying is there are millions of people out there watching today. You called January 6th historic. It was absolutely historic, and none of us had ever seen that before. Nobody's seen this before either. There are millions and millions of Americans watching the first time in 250 years a former president be hauled into court and processed for arrest. That means something. That has some effect, potentially, I suspect, on American democracy and on how the rest of the world... The president has talked a lot about how the rest of the world sees the United States in the wake of January 6th. Totally valid. Why isn't there a similar kind of assessment about how the world is watching us now? Good or bad? I'm not making a judgment whichever way. I'm just saying...
And I hear your question. January 6th was a different moment. It just was. It was something
I said so.
that was incredibly devastating. People died on that day and were harmed. And it was just something that we saw visually, that we reacted to, and many people were scared in that moment. And as the president was taking office, as the next president of the United States, a president that ran on bringing the country together, on protecting our democracy, it was something that it was important to speak to at that moment. And also, we know that Americans still very much care about this.
President Trump should send White House spokeswoman KJP a thank you note. Thank you for pouring gasoline on the fire, KJP. Very helpful. Scott McKay is the publisher of the Hayride, contributing editor to the American Spectator and author of the book, The Revivalist Manifesto. Scott, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Dan. But I'm going to take issue with something that you said. You called KJP the spokeshuman, and that is entirely too generalized a statement. What she is the spokeslesbian.
I need to be
for
more
the White House.
Hello.
Well, but wait a second.
I believe, and you also should call her Queen Karine rather than KJP.
Well, wait a second. How do I pick? Because she is gay, she's a female, she's black, and she's an immigrant. Are you setting a hierarchy of her intersectional traits?
That's correct. And
that sounds. I mean, Scott, I don't want to get into a row with you, but that sounds like a bit of white mansplaining. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know. Since we're both at the bottom of the intersectional totem pole, I think that there's enough parity here that we can have this discussion. But I would point out to you that the first letter in the new alphabet that we're all learning is L, and therefore she should be the spokeslesbian.
Good comment, or good argument. Yeah, I see what you're saying. What about the substance of what she had to say, distinguishing from commenting on the QAnon shaman versus from commenting on the former president?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have a whole lot of significance other than it'll tell you what they don't want to talk about. Right. What I noticed a little, because I caught all this on like YouTube rather than actually watching it on TV last night, but there was something of I don't know if I would say a dour mood on CNN and MSNBC last night. I think they kind of felt like there was sort of a feeling of emptiness, and it wasn't what they thought they would, what they would feel when Trump was processed, and the thing didn't really come off as this grand triumph that they thought.
Well, that's because there was no mugshot, there was no perp walk, and then when you get the 16-page, 34-count indictment, there's nothing there. They talked about things from 7 years ago, and we don't know what the cover-up the crime is. We don't know what the crime that was allegedly covered up.
There's all of that, and then, Trump goes and gives this stem winder of a speech, and it starts to enter some of these people's brains that, this might not be the great political win that we thought it was going to be. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, well, we don't have any comment on Trump's arrest, largely because, we like to talk about things that we can claim are victories, and we're not sure we can claim this. I think that's it. Now, you also have this other thing that, there's a theory. I'm not sure I subscribe to it, but there's a theory that, the left is doing everything they can to promote Trump as the Republican nominee because they think they can beat him.
Absolutely.
Whereas somebody like DeSantis, they don't think they can. And so, there is a little bit of Machiavellian flair to the idea that, that they would let Trump have all the moments he wants while the primary is still going on. Now this is a monster that might just eat you, because if Donald Trump ever, recognized that he's the sympathetic figure now and acted accordingly, I think that kind of jujitsu would break the election and make it so that there's no way that they could beat him. Because at that point you would be, you'd be getting DeSantis rather than Trump, only he's older and he's orange. But I don't know that he's capable of giving you that. But it would, like, if I was advising Trump, I'd be like, you need to turn into Mr. Rogers for the next year and a half, because they can't handle that.
Well, good luck with getting that transformation.
I know, but a guy can dream.
Let me ask you something. So the concurrent Republican investigation into Biden Inc. being led by House Oversight Chairman Jim Comer, how much pressure does this put on Comer and the Oversight Committee and House Republicans to move this along, and also to get some answers extracted from the FBI about where, if anywhere, their investigation into Hunter Biden and all the associated tentacles goes?
Well, they certainly need to move it along. I'm going to be okay if we don't really hear anything coming out of that this week, because I don't know that I would want to try to compete with this news story.
Right.
But come Monday, I think, you need to start dropping some bombs, because when those bank records came out, I mean, it was less than 24 hours later that this stupid indictment was issued. And it looked to me, and I didn't read the whole thing by any means, but just, what I skimmed over it, and what it just looked to me like this was something they threw together to, like, we got to get something out there. So just throw this, in there, and we'll amend it or we'll do whatever down the road. But we've got to, we got to win this news cycle. And, you find out that Alvin Bragg's office is covered with Biden people at this point. And it starts to make a lot of sense that this is all about trying to generate headlines and trying to set the table so that their media organs can spin this a certain way, and do everything they can to taint, both Trump and the Republican Party. And, and to do that in a way that allows their media organs to forget about what's actually going on with Congress and their investigation of the Bidens.
So we had a mayor's race in Chicago you may have heard about, and
you poor guys.
The identitarian Marxist won. And now we've seen this play out a number of times across the country, including in L.A. last year when Karen Bass held off a challenger from Rick Caruso. Sort of a somewhat similar dynamic, not exactly, but somewhat. There's definitely some parallels. And I wonder if those races provide any instruction for the Republican Party when it comes to addressing the violent crime issue nationally and in the context of the 2024 election, since it didn't produce the results, that issue didn't produce the results that were anticipated in 2022. What's your sense of, messaging on the disintegration of big city America, particularly because of the failure to provide public safety?
Well, what I would say, and I've got a piece at the American Spectator that's up this morning talking about blue cities in a little different context, because I don't know if you saw this on Sunday. There was a Wall Street Journal piece about how, the blue cities and like these pension funds in these blue states, all of this is about to go completely belly up, and they're going to want to bail out from the federal government. And, my answer is no. Like, the Republican response to this stuff should be, well, y'all made this bed, and we're just not going to pay for you to sleep in it, right? Like, we're not going to pay for it. We're gonna cut the budget on these block grants and all this other stuff, and there will be no bailout money. You guys are going to have to sort it out yourselves, because at the end of the day, the Blue City and the Blue State Project leads to ruin, and all we've been doing is subsidizing that slow boat to Ruinville. And, you're just going to have to be ruined and then change your worldview. I mean, you can enable a drunk as long as you want, but the drunk is never going to change his ways until, he wakes up in the yard with somebody else's pants on and a tattoo of something vulgar on his forehead, right? You have to hit rock bottom before you can change. And the left hasn't hit rock bottom for the very that they keep getting bailouts. And so, the Republicans, I mean, we've tried the Jack Kemp, Empower America thing, and, hey, let's do enterprise zones and vouchers and all. And what do you get for that? What you get is the urban Democrat machine looking at these things and saying, they may get some votes out of this city as a result of that, so we can't have it. And, that was when they really started talking up the accusations of racism. And when you started trying to do urban renewal, they called it gentrification. And this whole thing, that's a political response. They're not about making good policy. They're about creating an electorate that will do what the electorate in Chicago just did. And, Republicans have played into this for a very long time to help these people. And it's time to stop. If you're in the suburbs, do not vote for anything that would give free money to the cities to make them better. They are not going to get better.
He is Scott McKay, publisher of the Hayride, contributing editor at American Spectator, author of the book, The Revivalist Manifesto. Scott, thanks as always. Appreciate it.
Dan, see you soon. See you guys.
Bye. Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Building owners, property managers, and chief engineers. This one's for you.
Hello, this is Bruce Diedrich with Waukegan Roofing, your professional roofer. Everything starts on top. Your investment, your building, and everything in it is protected by your roof. It needs to be in good shape. That's where we can help. If it needs to be repaired or replaced, or you think it might, call us. Let's find out. Here's the number.
847-623-1625.
At Waukegan Roofing, our employees are union-trained roofing professionals with OSHA safety training certifications and have thorough knowledge and expertise regarding the various roofing systems we sell, maintain, and install. We know commercial roofing systems because that's all we do. Over 110 years of doing commercial roofs. Waukegan Roofing has the slogan,
Roofs you can rely on.
Because you can. Here's the number to call.
847-623-1625.
And get the info at WaukeganRoofing.com. WaukeganRoofing.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank, a bank where relationships still matter. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hey all, Jim Carr here. I am the owner of Carr Machine and Tool in Elk Grove Village and loyal customer of Signature Bank. As a second-generation owner, I knew I had to shift from operating as an old-school machine shop to what I can proudly say is now one of the fastest-growing aerospace manufacturing facilities in the region. Signature Bank was there every step of the way through our expansion efforts, including financing our new state-of-the-art facility. Their valuable industry expertise and constant communication throughout the construction process made our vision possible. Many thanks to Signature Bank for supporting Carr Machine and Tool. You set the bar high for other banks.
Signature Bank helps local businesses succeed. Want to learn how Signature Bank can help turn your business vision into reality? Visit signaturebank.bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Relief Factor, pain relief that's natural, pain relief that works, and pain relief that attacks the source of the pain. That's the experience of tens of thousands of Americans who are taking Relief Factor right now. See their incredible video endorsements at relieffactor.com and then order your 3-week quick starter pack for just $19.95. That's less than $1 a day. Find out if it can work for you like it works for me by ordering your 3-week quick starter pack today. Relieffactor.com, relieffactor.com. Be the next success story.
Execution's 11 p.m., but he's trying to convince us he's gone insane.
Therefore incapable of being executed.
On April 14th.
Edward?
I'm not Edward. I'm a demon. In the vein of C.S. Lewis's Screwtape Letters. I think it's time we tell you what it is that we'd like you to do. Comes Nefarious. Rated R. Under 17, not admitted without parent. In theaters April 14th.
Did you give up on your New Year's resolution already? You don't have to, since you can lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. That's guaranteed weight loss. NJ Diet's scientific approach uses your hair, saliva, and blood work to personalize solutions and supplements to help reset your metabolism, where the side effect is weight loss. NJ Diet then uses DNA testing to help you keep it off. No shots, no hormones, no surgery, no prepackaged food. Contractually guaranteed weight loss of 20 to 40 plus pounds.